here. There we go. I was going to stay away just in case, you never know. She might decide to clobber me. Who knows? But, maybe not. We shall see, won't we? What's up, ASD? Recon? How you doing, guys? I've been rushing around tonight trying to get that ASD and Recon. You both in there. I was rushing around tonight trying to get that video done of Minnie, which I assume maybe you guys watched it. I don't know. I figured ASD would watch it because it's called Swamp Witch. Ah, well, good. You had a nice walk, I assume. I fully expect me to show up tonight after I did that video. You guys can take a minute and watch it if you want to. Ken, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Have any of you watched that video I just did of for Minnie called Swamp Witch Minnie? I've only got a few likes on it, so I thought maybe some of you guys might have watched it already. It's only, I don't think it's even 3 minutes long. 2 minutes and 47 seconds or something like that. Whoa, internet's not too bad tonight either. It's about 4 megabits per second download and 0.92 megabits per second upload. Not fabulous, but better than a lot of days we've had. What do you think of it, Ken? Did you like it? Took me about 3 or 4 days to do that sucker. I just could not get happy with the audio, and I kept messing up on a couple of chords. Because it was in drop D tuning, and it had to move G chord. It's just okay, huh? Okay. Wasn't thrilling. Well, I was hoping it would be a bigger hit, but oh well. Couldn't quite get the rhythm of the song. I know it very well, but I changed the words around, which made it more difficult because I had to keep switching Minnie's name with Hattie. No, that was written by Jim Stafford. I just changed Hattie's name to Minnie's name. But I had to rearrange the music in the song to make it work. And I had to use drop D tuning, which I'm sure you don't really understand that because when I get with a guitar, but you take the top E string on a guitar and change it into D, but then you got to change the way you do an actual G. So it makes it a bit more difficult to play it. I'm not used to playing with drop D. A lot of guys do. A lot of people, a lot of rock groups and country singers, they use drop D. I probably should have left it a standard G anyway, but I wanted to try to do it the way the original was done. It was supposed to have been a joke anyway. I mean, it's supposed to have been just something funny, just to tease Minnie a little bit. I'll have my chocolate chip cookies with my coffee. All I ate today was a couple hot dogs. And I just ran in to make coffee and just barely got a cup in time. What'd you think, ASD? It took me forever to find all them damn graphics. Of course, to understand a song, you got to listen to the whole thing all the way through because of the ending. You didn't say what you thought of the song, ASD. Many will probably hang me for it anyway. I don't know why I thought of that song for her, but I did. It had been on my mind for quite a while. Well, the guy that originally wrote it is from the South. Oh, I see. The guy that wrote that song and played it, Jim Stafford's the one that did that song Wildwood Weed, if you ever heard of that one. Or My Girl Bill, Spiders and Snakes, Cow Pie Patty, or something like that. No, Florida. He was from Florida, Southern Florida. He did that song. Yeah, it's kind of a country rock. He did that song back in the 70s, early 70s, probably. Well, maybe not early. 75, 76. He's still alive now, I think. I think he's in his 80s, I think. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's Nancy, not Nancy. It's Nancy. I saw you put Nancy. I don't know why, but it's Nancy. Some of her kids should be joining it too, hopefully. Now you spelled it Nacy, but it's Nancy. You left the N out. She's my youngest daughter. Don't tell anybody, but I don't even know how old she is. I have no idea. I think she's about 36 or 37. I'm not sure. If my wife heard me say that, I'd be getting slapped in the head. And of course, Recon will probably tell her. Her dog. No problem, EST. I think that was a mistake bringing this whole pack of cookies out here. I might even eat the whole damn thing. Wouldn't surprise me. This week went by really fast. I don't know why. It just seems like it should be like Wednesday. No, he hasn't. No. Well, you've been here every day. No, he hasn't been by. I honestly don't look for him. I kind of don't expect that he will. Yeah, um, kind of not surprised. I think he's kind of fed up with YouTube a lot. I hope he comes back around, but that's up to him. I enjoy his company. I just wish he'd be on more if possible. But that's up to him. Yeah, I know he did talk about. He was pretty frustrated with a lot of people that were on. Yeah, a new VR game. Well, that's good. I expect that you probably do get games pretty often since that's what your channel is about. Different games, playing games and whatnot. Yeah, in fact, after he talked about them guys, he did stay off for a while. Then he came back. Then he was gone again. Things like that. Yeah, yeah. I figured you'd do that already, Ken. I figured you were changing it last night. I've been kind of watching my phone to see if I got a comment from Minnie, but I haven't yet. Maybe she hasn't seen it yet. Hmm. What'd you do wrong? A Sharky. I don't see who that Sharky is. I don't know if you guys can see some Sharky or not. I saw him. Strange. Well, as long as you don't blow the place up, it don't matter. It can. If it's something wrong, you'll have to, I guess, fix it. I think Recon already beat everybody to it. Or Ken did. Excuse me. As long as they're not saying anything bad, I don't care. I've already said that. Let them waste some time here. I don't mind. I can use the viewing hours. As long as they're not being nasty and all that good stuff. They can talk to themselves or whatever. I should have added some sound effects to this, but I couldn't find them to add to the song. It would have been a lot better with the sound, lightning and screaming and stuff like that. Whatever, thunder, water. Got 7 likes already. That's not bad. Yeah, I don't think she'll take the title wrong. I hope not. I already warned her I was doing a video about her. Or for her. Basically, for her. Minnie's got a pretty good sense of humor. Although I may find that out differently. Hopefully not. Yes, I do. I have the 16 button. I don't know if it'll reach up to the camera or not, but probably not. But you can see part of it there, right there. I ain't got enough cord to bring it all the way up. But yes, I do. In fact, I use it every day. Every time I do a stream, I use the stream deck. It's real handy. Like when I want to pull up my speed test program, I can just hit the button and do it. I can do sound effects if I want to and whatever and all that good stuff. No, they didn't send me anything on new updates yet. But I'm not sure. My software may be updating automatically. I don't know. Let me see here. I know I can add a mobile device to it. I've already got sound effects on mine. I've got hundreds of them. I've had them for a while now. Nope, I have the latest version already. I just checked for updates. I've got everything that's supposed to be on it already. But I've had the sound effects on it for a month now, I think. It probably automatically updated it. Poor Recon. Phones are not made for him. None of them. Recon, 2 cans and a string. 2 cans and a string. That's all you need. Your kids would probably have a ball with the 2 cans and a string, though. It'd be a different thing for them. Most kids haven't heard of that part yet. That fun. But you could do like the Navy used to do. You get a can or whatever, and you can attach a 1/4 inch hose. That's more expensive though, and you'll send the sound waves that way too. Recon, your phone does not like you. Did you get the message on that yet? It don't like you. You talked bad about it, and now it don't like you. Yeah, when I was a kid, we didn't have that many toys, really. We made our own toys. I don't know how many tree cabins I built when I was a kid. Probably about 8 or 10 of them. In fact, my father used to get really mad at me because I'd take his wood, he didn't mind me taking the scrap stuff, but, sometimes I take things that really weren't scrap, but I thought it was scrap and got my butt busted for it. And sometimes when he wanted some lumber, he'd go down to one of my tree cabins, and I'd be minus a tree cabin. I had a ball with my tree cabins. In fact, my brother, who was older than me, him and his buddy would come tramping through the woods. We had like a half an acre of woods, and I had all the tree cabins back there, out of sight of my parents. Well, they'd come up through the field, through the woods, and I used to keep pine cones and rocks up in there. And me and my friend, we had ropes that went from one tree house to the other, like Tarzan did. We could swing from one to the other. And when they came through the woods, they'd always be running their mouth at us. So we'd just bombard them with pine cones and rocks and whatever, and they'd try to come after us, and we'd wait till they get up, almost up to the top of the ladder, and get on the rope and swing to another one. They could never catch us. I had a ball. Well, I lived up in northern New Hampshire where there was my mother must not have loved us kids, especially me, because they allowed us to do things that today they'd probably go to jail for. Like, my mother would just tell us to get the hell out of the house in the summertime, and she'd call us back when it was like, lunch or dinner time. It didn't matter where we went. I could go a mile down the road. Didn't matter. As long as I was back by dinner or lunchtime or whatever. And we actually had mines all over the place. Dangerous mines. My parents never said a dang thing about me going to any of the mines. There was a burl mine, a feldspar mine, a mica mine, a tourmaline mine, all kinds of mines. What an adventurous place. The mica mine was huge. It had this huge manufacturing building. It was deserted. It looked like the place was in operation. Everybody just walked out the door and left. I'd go in there. Of course, I was really young then, talking 7, 8 years old, and I'd play in them dangerous buildings. And that's where I got a lot of paper to draw on. They left tons of paper, and I'd draw on paper. They left copy machines here, where the handle crank copy machines and all kinds of stuff. I know in the wintertime, we went sliding wherever we wanted to. I mean, there was fields everywhere up in New Hampshire. Sometimes I'd come back bloody because we'd go down one of the farmers' fields and forget that there was barbed wire fence at the bottom, and we'd get pretty cut up sometimes. You hit some ice, it was there, but ice wouldn't let you stop, so you got yourself in a bit of trouble then. But yeah, I remember going to, of course, there's laws against minors buying cigarettes now, but my father would hand me a quarter and say, go to the store, which was about a mile and a half away, down what they call Elson Hill. It's like steep, really steep, at least a mile down. I'd go to the little village store and buy him a pack of cigarettes for 20 cents, I think. I get the change. I have to walk all the way back up. I've been uphill all the way till I got to the top, and then went flat out. Of course, when I had a bicycle, going there was easy. Coming back wasn't so easy because you had to push the bike back until you got to the flat area. Yeah, well, I have asthma now, but I didn't then. But shoot, I used to make my own telegraphs and stuff. When I was 10, 11 years old, I learned how to make telegraphs and magnets and whatnot. And I'd run wires from one of my tree cabins to another. And me and my buddy, we'd send we made up our own Morse code. Excuse me, have some little messages that we'd send to each other. I learned how to wire lights up, mostly 12 volt, not 12 volt, but small light bulbs like from flashlights and whatever. And I'd make my own battery packs and all that stuff. And I'd sleep out. We'd make a tent out of polyurethane, plastic, and branches out in the middle, quite a ways from the house, where it's really kind of spooky out in the woods. They're pretty thick. And we'd make a tent and sleep out there. I'd sleep out there by myself. And there's bears in New Hampshire. Bears, wolves, cougars. Not cougar, but cougars? No. Bobcats, whatever. But I still had fun. Then, of course, we did the can thing with the strings. The biggest mistake my parents ever did was Christmas once. My father got a bunch of back pay from a government job. And it was thousands of dollars. Back then, talking in the 60s, thousands of dollars was a hell of a lot of money. He got like $3,500 in back pay because his employer tried to cheat him out of the government money and pay him a lower wage when he was supposed to be getting like 3 or 4 times that amount of money. Well, they got audited and they had to pay him. And this is right before Christmas, and they went wild on Christmas. And I tell you, that's when I got my first guitar. I was 7 years old. But they also bought me a chemistry set. Not a good idea. I discovered certain chemicals don't belong together. And they burn and they explode and, stuff like that. Yeah, see, I mean, that's what kids did when they were younger a long time ago. They made up things to do, basically. We used to go ice skating on the ponds. My parents didn't check them damn ponds to make sure that ice was safe. They just said, go ice skating. And we pretty much we got our feet wet a number of times because the ice wasn't frozen enough. Yeah, that chemical set was not a good idea for them to give me. I was too willing to experiment, which I mean that's what it was for. But I I was not doing the experiments that they really recommended to do. Yeah, you had one too. Yeah, mine was a pretty big one. It was like opened up in three different sections. There must have been 50 or 60 bottles of stuff. I was way too adventurous, mixing different things together. Oh, I wonder what this will do. Wonder what this will do. Oh, what a mess. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That would ammonia and bleach. My parents, when I was young, had a janitorial service, and that's ammonia about freaking kill. That's probably what's wrong with my lungs. A lot of it, not just the smoking, but we used to strip floors with ammonia. I mean, strong ammonia, strong. And my father made me get on my hands and knees with a damn Brillo pad. And we're talking about a big grocery store, like a Winn Dixie or Hitchcock's. We probably don't have them up there, but a big grocery store because they were bad. They hadn't never been stripped before, and we were down our hands and knees stripping these floors with them fumes and I'm breathing them fumes in for all day. Many times we did that, and I know dang well it took a toll on my lungs. And we did some commercial cleaning, and my dad would make me use muriatic acid cleaning, like these filthy freaking showers and stuff, and nothing could take that crap off the walls but muriatic acid. No mask, no nothing. Breathing that shit. So I'm sure my parents contributed to my bad lungs immensely. But back then, the fathers expected their sons to be men. Men, y'all, you can take it. You're a man. You're gonna be a man. You can take it. Get in there and do it. They didn't. They didn't get educated enough themselves to really realize what they were really doing to their kids. Not to mention, my father was a chain smoker. Which is why I smoke, and my brother did, my sister did. We all smoked because my father smoked probably 4 packs a day at least. At least. I used to watch my father all the time. He'd light one up in the morning. He didn't have to use a lighter most of the rest of the day because he would just turn the cigarette around and light the next one. Luckily for him, they were cheap back then. And he smoked non-filter cigarettes like Raleigh non-filter, Pall Mall non-filter. Of course, back then, that was before they had filters on a lot of them. Well, I had chemistry in school, so they probably would have frowned on me bringing a chemistry set, but then again, they might not have. I don't know. I can say, my father was in the wrong, and he really was. But that's how he was raised the same way by his parents, his father. Back then, that's what they did, whatever they had to do with whatever they had to do it with. And that's how I was raised. You fix it, you find a way to fix it yourself. You want something, build it, make it, do whatever you got to do to get it done. That's how my father was. That's how his father was. And his father died at he was like 56. He was pretty young. But they did. I mean, they did whatever they had to do. My father was not a lazy man at all. I mean, he worked. I remember my father working 3 jobs for most of my younger life. He worked at least 2 or 3 jobs at a time, and took on a lot of side work. He'd do renovations for people, build new cabinets or build countertops or insulate their damn attic. Whatever he could get a job doing, he did it. He always did a good job. I mean, people were always happy with his work. I think some of the times he had a problem with pricing. I think he was just too easy on his prices, but probably was competing with other people. Who knows? But I think he got crapped on price-wise a lot. It's amazing how times have changed so drastically. That when I was a kid, my father worked for Elmer Lanson's Sheet Metal Company. He was a foreman. He started it when he was like 18 years old. He was with him for 10 years. He ended up being a foreman. And his boss, before he made foreman, one day was always picking on him for some reason. This guy was always picking on him. My father had a bad temper. He was a Frenchman. My father eventually one day, he picked him up, turned him upside down, and shoved him right down inside a 55-gallon drum, head first. The guy didn't pick on him anymore. I'm not surprised at all, Recon. That's the way older people are. I mean, just like me. I mean, I don't. I'd like to retire, but I still do a lot of things that I should not be doing. My doctor tells me, don't do that shit, literally. And she tells me that, don't do that shit. Because I tell them the stuff that I do, and she tells me, don't do that stuff. You're going to kill yourself. Then, well, if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. It's that simple. And that's basically the way it's always been, really. Although my kids try to look out for me some, a little bit. My son that passed away, he used to be very good at helping me if I needed to help. He was pretty good. If he had, as long as he wasn't working and he had the time to do it. But he helped me quite a bit. My older son, you better have some money to pay him. That's all I can tell you. He don't do a whole lot for free. But he has, he's done some things, but not a lot. If my son does something for free, he wants something that I have. Guaranteed. Without a doubt. Recon, he's probably right. He's probably right. I don't know how many people, and I'm sure you've seen it yourself, how many people out there work all their life, they retire, and they die within 6 months to a year. It happens a lot. Social Security depends on that. That's not a lie. They depend on people dying when they get older. You'll probably end up being the same way yourself. Even though I get retirement, I mean, I get Social Security, I'm still pretty active. I still do a lot of things. Even though I'm not supposed to be, I do it anyway because it's just the way I am. I don't expect anybody to do the things that's my responsibility to do. Like I've been wanting to power wash the RV for a while. My daughter Nancy, she's been over a couple times. Puts her hands on her hips. She's like, "I'll power wash it. You don't need to be doing that," because they know that I'm not safe on a ladder, and you're gonna have to get on a ladder to power wash it. So she's been having a fit about it. So I'll have to probably do it. If I do it, it'll have to be probably when she's not around. But and I don't want her on a ladder either. I don't think she's all that stable either. Yep, that's why they raised it. They raised it also because they know they're running out of money. They're trying to figure a way to save the money to make it last longer. Yeah, he's gonna be forced into retirement whether he likes it or not. Yeah, dementia pretty much forces you into retirement, no matter what. My mother had dementia, and it's a hard thing to deal with. Welcome back there, AST. In fact, my mother went downhill really pretty quickly. I remember the year before she died, I got phone calls. I don't know why, but for some reason, I was the only one she always recognized. My father, who was my stepfather really, but she'd been married to him for 50 something years. There were times she knew who the hell he was because I would get a phone call from my sister because my mother wanted him out. Thought he was a total stranger that just walked into the house and sat down. So I get there, and she's telling me, "I don't know who this guy is. I don't want you to hurt him." I said, "You want me to throw him out?" "No, I don't want you to hurt him. Just get him out of here. Just tell him to get out of here. Whatever, get him out." Of course, my father was deal with it. He had a hard time dealing with that dementia. "Well, it's me. It's Reggie. It's me." And I don't know who the hell you are. You're not my husband. She really, truly didn't know who he was. And I figured out why. He had taken a shower and he changed his clothes, and for some reason he looked different to her. And one thing, he didn't comb his hair very well either at that particular time. So I thought about it. I said, "Dad, go get dressed, comb your hair, shave, whatever you gotta do, go out the back door of the house, and then come in." While he's gone, I've convinced my mother that I walked that old man out of the house and sent him down the road, and he's going to be fine because she was worried about him being okay. I said, he'll be fine. Someone's picking him up, so don't worry about it. And she's all good, thank goodness. I didn't want him to be hurt, whatever. She had a nice heart. And then finally, my father walks up the front of the house, into the house, and comes in and sits down beside her, and she looks at him, and he says, "Hey, honey, I'm home." And she says, well, she recognized him immediately for some reason because of what he did. He changed and combed his hair and all that stuff, and proceeded to say that some other man was there, which he knew was wrong. But sometimes you gotta think about things to do to get them to come out of it. And when you get panicky and feel bad, people have to realize, and it's a tough thing to swallow. My mother didn't even know who my sister was most of the time. And she'd like be in tears. In fact, my mother would call one of my sisters Corrine, which was her older sister who had died 15 years before that. And we had to tell them, just let her call you whatever she wants. It doesn't matter. Just answer her. Just pretend you're that person. That's all you can do. Strangely, dementia didn't run in our family that I know of. Oh, we didn't even stop her from cooking. My gosh. She about burned the house down. My wife would go over there and my wife would say, "What are you cooking, Mom?" Water in a pan. She would tell my wife it was something, I'm cooking rice or something, I'm cooking hamburger or something. And there's just by then there's nothing in the pan and the pan is sitting there burning. Literally. The water had all evaporated and the pan was sitting there burning. We had to totally stop her from trying to cook. And that was tough. Because she was so used to doing it. Sometimes she just, without thinking, she just try to cook something. So for years, my wife and I ended up cooking dinner for them every day. Every day, we cook it at the group home and we bring it to them, like Meals on Wheels. So we made sure they had at least one good meal a day. I don't remember retirement age ever being 55, Ken. And I'm way older than you. I don't remember anybody that could get retired at 55, unless you're getting disability. But retirement, not that I know of. Now, if you were with a company and it's a company-sponsored retirement, and you were there for 20 years back then yeah, you probably could retire at 55. 20 or 30-year retirement, whatever. Even the service changed. The service used to be 20 years, but it moved up to 30 years now for retirement. I wish I had stayed in the service. I'd have been retired at 47 back then. Yeah, well, I was definitely here in the 80s, but I don't remember anybody that could get retired at 55, so, unless it was through a company plan. I mean, it still is 62, but you had to have been born before a certain year. I retired technically at 62 because I was old enough. Um, but I could have waited till I was 65 or 67, 70, whatever. The longer I waited, the more I would have got. But because of that big pay cut we took at the group home, I was forced to take it at 62. And so did my wife. Now, if I ever got lucky and hit the lottery or hit a giant scratch off ticket or something like that, we know that ain't likely. You can actually stop your retirement and then pick it back up again later on. All right, ASD, have a good one. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you coming by and take care of yourself. We'll see you probably tomorrow night. Stay safe, stay healthy. I can make up to a little over 17,000 a year. And so can my wife. I don't remember the exact number, but it's a little over 17,000 a year now. But I'm thinking seriously about applying for disability. No, it's under 18. It's 17 something. I did check the other day. I don't remember the exact number now, but it's a little over 17,000. Not quite 18 yet. Although we're supposed to get one of the biggest increases in 20 years this year, I believe, or next year. Um, I think it's supposed to be like a 5.6% increase. That's one that to make up for inflation. The last one was like 1.6. It wasn't worth a crap. Yeah, the cap probably is 67. I was looking the other night to see. I was thinking it was 65. That's why I actually checked, but I found out it was actually a little bit later than that. But at 65, if it's 65, you don't have to pay taxes anymore on your income tax, as long as it's down below a certain amount of money. You don't get for if you start getting retirement at 62, that's what you get for the rest of your life, which is a lower amount. If you wait till you're 67, you get more, a lot more. How much is what, Ken? If you mean my retirement, I get a whole $770 a month. That's what working all my life gave me for retirement. If I had waited until I was 65, I'd have been getting over $1,000 a month. So I lost all that money because of the group home. Another thing it cost me. I hate to say it, Recon, but the way things are going, there may not be any Social Security by the time you get retirement age. I'll be dead by then, probably, but you may not ever get it. Who knows? I hope they fix it. I'm sure they've got to find a way to fix it. Of course, certain people in Congress borrowed money from Social Security that's never been paid back, and they need to pay it back. Oh, the raise they give people is 5.6%. So it's 5.6% of whatever you get for retirement. So for every $100, you get 5.6%. So it's like $5.60 for every 100. That's what they say it's going to be. That don't mean that's what it'll end up being, but that's what they predict that it'll be. If I get it, then I'll probably get somewhere around close to $40 more a month, which would be great. That's almost $500 more a year. My wife gets a little bit less than I do, so she'll get less. I didn't even know that I could get Social Security and disability until recently. I had to look it up. I thought you could only get one or the other, but I found out you can actually get Social Security and disability. I didn't know. If I had known that, I'd have been getting both of them several years ago. In fact, the disability I could have got before Social Security, because I do have 4 or 5 different things to qualify for disability. I just didn't because I was working and I didn't feel right about it. So I didn't. But getting my Social Security, I felt right about that. No, they didn't pass that one yet, the 5.6% yet. Not that I know of. It's an inflation is what it is. It's for inflation. It's not to 2022. I think it's been proposed, or it may have passed, but not that I've read. I read up on it, but they didn't say anything about it passing yet. They just, what I read from Social Security said they expected it to be 5.6%. But with our politicians, they may say 5.6%. It'll end up being 2.6%. Who knows? Well, guys, it's been an hour. I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go inside and find me something else to eat. I'm still hungry for some reason. Give me some more coffee and relax a little bit with the wife before we go to bed. Clean up in here a little bit in the studio. And got a busy day tomorrow too, I guess, from what I'm told. My wife tells me so anyway. So y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night, guys. Recon, Ken, I appreciate you coming as always. Well, even if I get 40%, Recon, no, I'm not getting disability from the VA. I'm talking about regular disability, not through the VA. I might could get something from the VA also, but I don't know. It would be very, very little. But anyway, have a good night, guys. Take care. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye now.